gentlemen, it's come down to this once again. Point and Counterpoint, the feature wherein we argue.
I being point and...
I being Counterpoint.
Right. What are we going to argue about today, Counterpoint?
How about Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
Yes. The man leads 90 laps at Martinsville, finishes with a top 10, which is fairly rare for him these days, and he's all bummed and depressed after the race. Come on, what gives?
People say this guy doesn't care, but that's not good enough, man. It's not good enough to have a good car and lead in the middle of the race. We've seen this before. You know what? Leading in the middle of the race ain't what it's all about, dude. It's about leading at the end, and that's why the man's bummed out. So don't tell me he doesn't care anymore.
Baby steps, dude. He hasn't led 90 laps since the cows didn't come home. He should be happy. I was reaching. He has in a really long time.
Be happy. I'm glad. I am glad that Dale Earnhardt Jr. is not satisfied with this mediocre bullcrap.
And he still unleashed a string of profanity at Lance McGrew. Lance McGrew has won championships. Lance McGrew knows how to tune a car.
Nationwide series.
Has Steve Letarte won a championship? Has Alan Gustafson won a championship? Lance McGrew is not a bad crew chief.
I'm not saying Lance McGrew is a bad crew chief. Lance, I would never say that about you. I'm just simply saying the magic ain't going to happen with Dale Earnhardt Jr. And I'm sorry to report this to you, Cutler. And I know this is a newsflash for you, but Junior ain't going anywhere. You're going to have to find a crew chief that works with Dale Jr. And believe me, if you can do that, you can get magic.
So we're just going to keep
on the racetrack, but in your back pocket.
We're just going to keep sacrificing these guys, throwing them to the lions.
It's not as if Junior hasn't had that chemistry and that magic before. It's out there. You just have to find it.
But the guy he's had it with isn't interested in being a full-time Cup crew chief anymore.
There's only one guy that can crew chief Dale.
Evidently.
In the whole universe.
Evidently.
Okay, so they've tried Tony Jr. and they've tried Lance McGrew, and that's it. There's no point in trying anybody else. Is that what you're telling me?
What I'm telling you is that the problem is not with the crew chief. The problem is with Dale Earnhardt Jr. And the only person who can solve the problem is, get this, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I'm not even saying the problem is, quote unquote, with the crew chief. I'm just saying it's not going to work with Lance McGrew and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. is not going to go anywhere.
So Ron
Dale
Malik
Earnhardt Jr. has won like 18 races, and we need to find a crew chief that works with him.
So Ron Malik is the key.
Rick.
Ron Malik he's the magic bullet.
I would try Ron Malik. I would try Alan Gustafson if I could.
Let's just keep throwing these guys to the wolves, sacrificing crew chiefs, ruining their lives.
I don't think so.
Until Dale Earnhardt Jr. remembers how to drive.
What ruins their lives? Crew chiefing Dale Earnhardt Jr. and not having success. That'll ruin your life. If I'm Lance McGrew, I'm like, you know what? Let me wipe my hands of this whole situation.
Oh, yeah, because I'm sure he wants to go back to being the R&D crew chief.
Well, it was so gratifying to win the nationwide championship, as you've just outlined. All right, for Point, I'm Counterpoint.
And for Counterpoint, I'm Point.
We'll be back soon to argue about Talladega.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.